Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, December 1st, 2016. I'm Keith Tebow. This week we talk extensively with Fall River Mayor Jesus Correa about a variety of citywide revenue-generating and marketing projects, including the unveiling of the city's new slogan. We provide the results of a recent Board of Health hearing concerning tobacco violations, and we get an inside look at a holiday giveaway program for needy families. But first, let's look at the headline issues of the week. After a week off, Will Richmond from the Herald News is rejoining us this week. Will, welcome back. How was your holiday?
It was good, Keith. How was yours?
Very, very good. And you're on the phone this week. We're having some technical difficulties with our Hangouts connection, but we're glad to get you in nonetheless. Let's talk a little bit about that marketing plan. We've teased it here in the show. We'll have more a little bit later on. This week, the City Council Finance Committee actually voted to transfer money to go toward the mayor's plans to create a marketing plan for the city of Fall River, and it was announced that the new slogan for the city will be "Make It Here." Will, fill us in on how that evolved and how it got to be where it is.
Sure. The mayor's office contracted with two Rhode Island companies to help develop this slogan, "Make It Here." It seems to sort of apply to both the city's manufacturing history as well as the concept of, people can come to Fall River, they can make a living here, and sort of move forward. So there's a little bit of looking back, a little bit of looking ahead with the concept. Going forward, the two contracts cost $100,000, so that in addition to the slogan, also brings with it the effort to start rolling it out, to kind of get a nonprofit organization together that will move this slogan forward, along with a marketing plan for the city. So this is, I don't think this is a replacement for We'll Try, but it's sort of a new concept to kind of put the city behind. Well,
I know that the mayor's office has announced that the city seal will stay the same, excuse me, which includes the "We'll Try" motto that is on the city seal. So this is something above and beyond to market the city, to get businesses hopefully to come in and offer jobs to city residents, and also make it potentially a tourist destination. So what's next? I know that there had been plans initially to roll out some sort of big event next year of some sort, and also launching an official logo that will go along with the campaign. What's the timeline for any of that, if you know?
Well, it looks at this point that those will really be the functions of the nonprofit organization that's being formed in conjunction with the slogan. So that group, which is still to be formed, will really be the ones that would be responsible for fundraising and moving forward the concept of that event that's related to this. I know in the past the mayor has said he's kind of looking for something that would sort of fill the role of what Fall River Celebrates America used to be, but certainly the money needs to be raised to get that option off the ground. I know it's something he's hoping to do, or initially it said he's hoping to get it in place by next summer. So that's sort of the next step with the summer, August timeframe, I believe, eyed for that event. And I think the other aspects of it, such as the logo and that type of stuff, would move along with the work of that nonprofit group. So it would it could be a rollout that sort of culminates with that event coming next summer.
Right. As you know, a lot of times these marketing slogans become heavily criticized by people who will like to look at things like this and pick it apart. We can look at the Rhode Island issue earlier this year with cooler and warmer, the slogan for Rhode Island. What are you hearing in terms of reaction to this slogan?
Well, I think, there's a lot of skeptics that come along with this. I think the idea of spending money on a slogan and marketing kind of gets people a little concerned. I think the social media response has been very skeptical, but you kind of have to expect that with social media responses as well. So, I think there's people who are going to say that $100,000 could have been spent on other things, or that
Right.
the city should be focusing on other matters. But, what is also missed on this quite often is that city government doesn't operate singularity. That's not like everything stops so they could address this issue.
Right.
Other things are happening in the government, in city government. So I think, part of this is give it the time to see what happens with it. Even in the case of the Rhode Island slogan, as much of a failure as that process was, a study was done afterwards that found for the failure of it, Rhode Island got a ton of exposure out of it.
There you go.
Because it failed so miserably. So
The old adage, any publicity is good publicity, right?
yeah, they got Rhode Island on the national news and that kind of stuff. So things can come out of this, but only time will tell what happens with it.
All right, let's switch gears. The U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary was in Boston yesterday talking about that public housing authorities across the country, including here in Fall River, which receives money for its public housing, those locations that receive this federal funding will be facing a new regulation for its residents, in that the federal government's going to be calling for no smoking at some of these housing projects. And as many of you know, there's a number of them here in the city of Fall River. How is Fall River going to handle that announcement and that edict coming from the Obama administration, no smoking in the city housing projects?
Yeah, I'd actually spoke with Housing Authority Executive Director Dave Sullivan earlier today on this topic, and he mentioned that it was something that they were aware was coming, so they've been working on a plan for implementation with the announcement expected. At this point, he said there is no firm time frame for when it would be implemented, and even the announcement yesterday came with the caveat that with the switch over at the presidential administrations, it will be up to the presidency of Donald Trump and his administration to fully roll this out and set a firm timeline for when the requirement would go into effect.
Right.
So at this point, the Fall River Housing Authority is working on it. They are preparing the regulations should it be required. But when it will go into effect for the federal housing properties is still to be determined. On the state housing authority side, that one is a little more up in the air, but a plan is being looked at for that as well, in case they decide to go with a full non-smoking policy for all housing authority units.
All right, well, we'll just be following that as it progresses. All right, well, what's coming up at the Herald over the next few days?
Well, we will be doing full coverage of this weekend's holiday parade, so that will obviously be an exciting weekend for Fall River. Really kicks off the holiday season. And, we'll have full coverage of all the holiday events this weekend. We got the lineup of the parade on Saturday. We have the Durfee Craft Fair this weekend, which is celebrating its 40th year. The Greater Fall River Recreation Party on Sunday. And then, of course, the tree lighting being held on Monday night. So if you weren't ready for Christmas, this weekend should probably get you in the mood.
Yeah, I know, especially today. It's beautiful. It's mild in the 50s and doesn't feel like December, but I guess I should hold my breath because we know that's going to change very soon. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk again next week.
All right, have a good weekend, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.